Lucille's Roadhouse. Hey, there we go. Oops. I'm messing everything up all this morning. Lucille's Roadhouse. Swing by there. Get you some breakfast this morning. You can get by maybe a breakfast burrito. Put some sauce on there. It is pretty delicious. You get a chance. I got the fish and chips thing going on Fridays. Maybe swing by tomorrow. Of course, my favorite breakfast-wise, Mr. Barong, it is the all-you-can-eat, the Mother Road special. You can get all-you-can-eat bacon, all-you-can-eat sausage, all-you-can-eat. Let me explain some weight issues I have. I have no idea.
Hey, yeah, but you've been doing very well, eating all you can eat and getting you're becoming a shadow of your former self.
Slowly but surely, that is the goal.
I mean, eat bacon and lose weight.
That's all you need to do. Joining us this morning for Conversation Corner, Clinton alum, class of '05, Jamila Bell is on with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. We're really good. We were just talking. We kind of came into contact. Some backstory here is they had the different rallies were going on throughout Western Oklahoma, and then we heard that you were a big part of the rally in Clinton, Oklahoma, and then you wrote this, in my opinion, an amazing article, or a letter to the editor, however you want to call it, to the Clinton Daily News, and then that's what really put you on my radar.
Yeah, it was great. It was an excellent letter. Good morning, Jamila.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was actually the speech that I gave at the rally.
Oh, okay.
But I just went ahead and submitted it to the editor.
No. Yeah, that was perfect. That was perfect. So tell me, you class of '05 or we state? He keeps bragging, Mr. Barong keeps bragging about all the state championships. Were we state champs in '05 too?
Well, probably.
Of course.
Of course. Are you kidding? You can't go to school there without at least having one state championship.
I think 3 or 4 years we won state.
There you go.
I believe it.
There we go. She is a Clinton Red Tornado.
That's how you know. You just basically, there's a state championship in your future and past at all times. At all times, you're good. No, and then so that all happened. So you were born in Clinton is where you graduated from. You said, Mr. Barong, your teacher or your wife?
My wife had taught there and retired now at 30 years, but had the good fortune of having Jamila in science.
Okay, be honest. She's not listening. How was she?
Wonderful.
No, seriously.
Nice lady.
I mean, Jamila's now she's gone into nursing. I mean, she's applying all this science and everything that she does.
Where are you a nurse at?
I am a nurse at OU Medical. I've been a nurse there for the past 2 years.
Oh, how's that been?
Exciting.
When you got into it, did you expect it to be like this with all the epidemic stuff and all that?
I would have never imagined that I'd be a nurse in the middle of a pandemic.
No, right? But at the same time, isn't that kind of why you got into the field, though? To you're going to make a huge difference, and this is something that's going to go down in the history books?
Oh, yes. Even before the pandemic, I always thought I was making a difference. I always hoped to make a difference.
I always say the nurses are the real MVPs. If you've ever had to stay in a hospital or if you've ever been a part of anything, you see the doctor for about 30 seconds a day, where the nurse is the one that actually is taking care of you and making sure that, keeping you alive and doing all that. Yeah, no.
Nursing is a calling.
I'm with you there. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about kind of all that, everything going on with the Black Lives Matters movement. The fact that it reached Western Oklahoma, that's got to feel good. Like, that's got to be one of those things you see sometimes, it's only happening in big cities. It's only happening in Dallas or Oklahoma City or Chicago. The fact that this movement, unfortunately, it took a tragedy to do it, but is making it all the way to Clinton, Oklahoma, to Weatherford, Oklahoma, to towns that you would never think stuff like this would even have a chance of surviving. So anyways, I'm excited about this. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about that and kind of talk about you and your personal feelings towards it. And I'd love to find out your, short-term goals, what you think we could do today to make a difference. And then what you hope 5 years from now, 10 years from now, looking back, saying, wow, this is what it should be. So we'll take a break, come back. Conversation Corner brought to us by our good friends at Lucille's Roadhouse.
EY is 50 years old, and we're celebrating with a giant birthday bash featuring the legendary Mo Bandy.
Any kid knows where to find me. I'm Bandy the Rodeo Clown.
Friday night, September 18th at the Pioneer Cellular Events.
Awesome. We're still live on the stream right now, so people can still hear us. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Not that you would say anything that you shouldn't say, but so that's all it was, just intro, and then now we'll come back and talk, and it's just like having a conversation. You're doing great.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
We'll be good.
I'm so nervous.
No, don't be nervous at all. Like literally, you're doing amazing, and there's nothing to be nervous about. It's not even. People always say this is such a controversial topic, and I disagree completely. Like I don't think there really has to be controversy here. There's not a. It's not like it's one way or the other, or it's everyone trying to make change for the better.
That's a human
For the
topic.
better.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's a human topic.
Yeah, so it'll be good. All right, I'm gonna put the commercials back on. We have about 2.5 minutes, and then we'll go back on the air.
Okay.
Awesome.
6 a.m. to 11 a.m. The coffee is always freshly ground and ready to serve. While you're there, make sure to check out the great Made in Oklahoma products available in the gift shop, Lucille's Roadhouse, just off Airport Road in Weatherford, where you can enjoy all-you-can-eat breakfast Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's Lucille's Roadhouse.
Shop at Tot Fest and start getting a better night's sleep tonight.
We have a large selection. You have Englander, Serta, Sealy Posturepedic, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. We have some mattresses that are excellent quality at a reasonable price. You know, our salespeople have a lot of experience, and they'll get you dialed in to the correct mattress. We want to get our customers to have the very best sleep.
Tot Fest, the best in quality, service, and price. Tot Fest, downtown Weatherford.
Quick response and very professional.
These guys are the definition of integrity and will be my first choice for any truck in our fleet.
They went above and beyond my expectations.
As a fleet maintenance professional, my life would be vastly improved if every wrecker service had the equipment, know-how, and professional attitude that the folks at Cabin Wrecker have.
Cabin Wrecker Service proudly serves Oklahoma with multiple locations in El Reno, Chickasha, and Weatherford. Help is never far away. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call Cabin Wrecker at 772-6060. The only number you need to know.
Hello, this is Bert Hudson of Hudson Angus Farms. Folks, if you're the least bit concerned of where your beef comes from and what's going on in the beef industry, then we need to talk. I think you'd be surprised and perhaps alarmed, for example, with no mandates required to let you know what country of origin or where your steak comes from, but yet you know where your chicken or even a shirt on your back comes from. How does this make sense? And there's so much more than just this. Call me today at Hudson Angus Farms and let's talk.
Hey, this is Harold and Susie for Save-A-Lot, the big 4th of July blowout sale this weekend.
You can get a 10-pound bag of russet potatoes for $2.99.
Peaches or nectarines, 99 cents a pound.
Northwest cherries, $1.99 a pound.
And this is a great produce department at Save-A-Lot. Garden salad mix, $1.29 for a big package. Don't get bogged down in long lines, folks. Shop at Save-A-Lot. It's quick, easy, clean, and safe. Washington Main Street in Weatherford. Shop Save-A-Lot.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Coyote Country 95.5 with Van and John.
It is the new Van and John show. Vanessa, of course, on vacation this week. She is out touring the world. Hopefully, I think we should require her to get tested before she comes back, right?
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, Jamila, you're a nurse. You should know. Should I require her to be tested before I allow her back in the studio?
At least a 14-day quarantine.
No.
That's it.
I don't want to do this for 14 more days. Normally, Vanessa's the one in charge. She's the leader. She's the organized one. She's the one that plans everything. She's the one that keeps me afloat, and she touches all the buttons. And I am falling on my face without it. And then they say every man needs a good woman in their life.
So you need to just not talk.
Yes. yes, exactly right. Jamila Bell's our guest this morning for Conversation Corner, brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse. Jamila is a Clinton alum, and I don't know if you were necessarily the organizer, but you were a big part of the Black Lives Matter rally that happened in Clinton, Oklahoma. What is that? Was it about 3 weeks ago? Is that?
Sounds about right.
June 6th.
June 6th. Okay, yeah. Yeah. And so kind of tell me, let's start with that. Let's start with how that idea came about and then how you decided to get involved, if you will.
Actually, another Clinton High alum, Jennifer Barron, came up with the idea. She posted it on Facebook like, we should have a march. And I am like always on Facebook spouting my social injustice issues.
Yeah, right?
So I thought, I should say something because I have a lot to say. And I thought that Clinton would be perfect because I know that, well, I always think that I can reach people's hearts. I know there's good people in Clinton who maybe never looked at the movement in a way that they should. I felt that I could explain it better, maybe open their eyes a little bit.
Yeah, make it personal.
Make it personal.
Yep, that's right.
Make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and that's good. So then how did you sit down and when did you decide that you were going to be giving a speech, or how did that come about?
It was actually like the day before. The day before, but I've always had all these thoughts in my head about it. I've been passionate about it for a very long time, so it came very easy.
And then so you just started putting words down on paper and kind of thought it out. Kind of write me through this. For those of you who don't know, you can go. What edition was it in the Clinton Daily News?
It was a Sunday paper, wasn't it, Jamila? I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I will tell you that it was so well written. The editor of the paper told me it's the first one that he has ever allowed to. It was that long. They normally don't, allow but so many words, and it was so well written and so well crafted that they printed it, the entire thing, and it was excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it was excellent.
And so for those who know, you can go online. They have an archive there where you can get a chance to go. Just if anything, get on Facebook and find the Clinton Daily News. But kind of talk to me about that. Talk to me about the social injustices, especially you see, what you experienced maybe growing up in Clinton, Oklahoma, and because you would think that that it's not, and what we could do to fix it, or what we're expecting to do to change it, I guess.
A lot of the social injustice that I experienced in Clinton is what I would call now like microaggressions. You talk well for a black girl, or you sound white, or you're pretty for a black girl, as if black people can't be pretty or black people can't have proper language. It's like, what makes that superior? That's the kind of injustice I would say I dealt with.
Yeah, and it's just so crazy to me. I mean, mind you, now I grew up too. I'm from Texas originally, and I had a big city. I graduated the class of 775 people, and we were down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so to me, it's just so weird to me to ever think, I would never, in my head, I would walk up and say, "You're beautiful." Not at no point in time would I ever say for a black person or it's just weird that thought process even really exists, but it does, is what you're saying.
It does, and I call it part of the black experience, because you can talk to a lot of different black people and they'll tell you around the same thing, because it is an experience that we share as a people.
Speaking of the experience, let's talk for a minute about police. That was, that's how it started. That's not how it started, but that's what brought a lot of this to light, and a lot of people saying, hey, there needs to be change. Did you experience anything in Clinton, necessarily Western Oklahoma, from that necessarily standpoint, or is this just an overall movement that needs to happen?
I never personally had any bad experience with the police, but I do have a mistrust of the police. Am I fearful? Maybe a little bit, but I know that it's a real fear that people of color have.
You said something in your letter that, that was interesting, the issue of empathy you talked about, and the fact that the entire culture or race, of black people share the same sensitivity that you're talking about. And even though Caucasians or non-black people have not experienced it, that we should look to your entire, the comments and say, hey, okay, we're going to try to understand this, because a whole lot of people have a sense of this. And, not being born a particular race, we can't fully understand it. But when an entire race is saying to one degree or another, there's a sensitivity to having been born with a particular skin color. that we need to pay attention to it. And I thought that was well crafted.
Thank you. And I mean, it's true. As a nurse, they teach us not to have sympathy for people, but to have empathy, to put yourself in that person's shoes and to imagine how they're feeling or to feel what they're feeling.
And that's interesting.
And all these years that before this great awakening, as what they're calling it, people have been saying it. The Black community has been saying we're treated unfairly, this is unjust, all of this. I felt like no one was listening, or I felt like people thought we were making it up. And I'm like, how? When you have a whole group of people from all different walks of life, different pillars of the nation, telling you that this is what Black people and people of color experience on a daily basis, and still people are, it's make-up, it's made-believe. Like, no, that's the real.
One thing, Jamila, that you'd said that, of course, I'm older and I've been through. I'm older.
Much older.
You mentioned your grandparents and some of their experiences, that you had not totally related to, but the issues have just kind of evolved like the peeling of an onion. A lot of non-Black people or Caucasian people have been very sensitive to human rights and the things that as a people needed to be changed for you. In the 60s, made some dramatic changes, but I think what you're talking about is just trying to understand the sensitivity that you have, having been born, Black, and that is something that is not particularly something that I think was ever done intentionally by some people to be discriminatory, but actually being able to feel it like you're talking about. I think that's probably what's happening more now than in the past, and I think that's a good thing. To be able to try to understand, walk a mile in your shoes kind of thing. And that goes in reverse too. I mean, everybody, all these different groups have issues, not just, Blacks. We have human sin issues. And I think that this is one that I think can help really make things better. And the approach you're taking, you're very articulate, but you're very listenable to, because you're rational and reasonable. And that's why the event in Clinton was, I think, would have been a great event to have shown to the entire nation, because it was done so well, and so it was polite, but it was firm, and it was great.
Jamila Bell's on the Zoom with us, actually. I think, am I legally allowed to say that? I don't know. We're supposed to probably pay them if I say that out loud. Zoom with us this morning. We've got Clinton Mayor David Barong here with us as well. Jamila was a big part of the rally that happened in Clinton on June 6th. It was several weeks ago, as a big movement has been happening not only across the nation, but we keep talking about the fact that it's reached Western Oklahoma. That's saying something of how big this is. And Jamila, you're going to be the first to say that we're acting like this just started, a month ago, but this has been an issue your whole life.
Yes, it's been an issue. I mean, yes. I was born a Black woman, so there's some things that my mother said to me that my white friends, their parents probably didn't say to them. There are things that have happened in my life that I've experienced that my white friends probably haven't. So it's not new. It's been going on. I mean, I can talk to my grandparents who were
right.
I can talk to my mama who was born in the 60s, my grandparents who were born in the 40s about these same issues. Like Mayor Barong said, they've just changed. It's just a different kind of racism, but
right.
It's still there, and it's still very pertinent. It's systemic. I could go on and on and on about different ways that it's prevalent in our society, from education to housing to criminal justice. It's everywhere. It's in every facet of people of color's lives.
What do you feel? What do you feel? How do you feel we could? Let's start with the short term. We kind of mentioned this earlier. We'd address this, but let's start with the short term. What are things that people can do that say that they don't even realize they're being racist, or they realize they don't, or like what kind of different changes do you think that people could make in their lives that would make a difference? That you would look and say, this is what's going to help us right now, immediately help solve this problem?
I think people need introspect. You know, really dig deep and think. You know, like, what biases do I have? Because we all have them. We all have them. I think the difference is if you know you have them or not.
Skinny people. I don't like skinny people.
Me neither.
They drive me nuts.
I hate people who can eat carbs.
I'm so jealous of people with good metabolism or whatever. But I'm with you though. But you're right. I think there are all some things, and I joke about this. This is a very serious topic, but I try to make light of it. But there is, you're right. I think there are things hidden there that you don't even realize. I think that's the biggest thing, is you go through this life. We're in our bubble. We're doing our thing, and whether it be a racism thing, whether it be this. Or whether you just don't, you're terrible with money, or you're terrible, like things that are bad habits, but you don't realize you even have until someone calls you out on it or someone lets you know about it. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do, saying, hey, that's the only way you're going to make a change if you know you need to change.
Exactly. Examine your biases. Like that's, when they're treating addiction, that's the first step, is to admitting you have a problem, acknowledging it. So I think that's what we should do as a country.
Jamila, the thing, this comes from my scientific wife, but she would always tell me that, that you peel the skin back of whatever skin you have, and you're almost 99% identical to another human being. And I think that for me is, of course, that's a Christian perspective. This isn't about race. It's about just being a human being. And I tend to think systemic things are more in the area of human failure and sin, as opposed to just one specific thing. I think this is just an area of seeing people for what it is, and we really are all alike. We're beating hearts, and that's when we can come to that point where we see each other underneath the skin as opposed to the skin, then we're on our way.
All right.
One of my favorite quotes by Barack Obama is, "There's much more that unites us than what divides us."
Right.
But people fail to have that conversation, like.
Yeah, the human part. That's right. Martin Luther King was like that too. I thought. He always looked to the human commonality of the human spirit, through the course the eyes of a Christian worldview. But I mean, he was very much about all that too. And I just think that's a universal speech that all humans need to have, and it's not just strictly about one thing, but this particular thing, falls into that beautifully.
Jamila Bell, she is the class of 05 from Clinton, Oklahoma. She's currently a nurse at OU Medical. We've got Mayor David Barong of Clinton, Oklahoma as well here with us this morning. Kind of talking about some social issues, and we talked about just what a big deal it is that what's going on in this country, but not only that, the fact that it's made its way out here to Western Oklahoma. I know I keep emphasizing that, but I think that just shows you how important what's happening is. Now, Jamila, I want to kind of end it with this, but what we mentioned, in 10 years from now, you look back at your life and you look back and say, man, this is what I want it to be. This is what these changes were made. This happened. This, the long term, like, oh, we're finally all on this level. Like, what do you think, kind of from that perspective, that you hope you see not only yourself, but society in 10 years?
Society in 10 years, I hope that, America can live up to its ideals, that anyone can be whatever they want to be, that they can have what the American dream. Sometimes that's not always true. That's not always true, especially for people of color.
Makes sense. No, I would agree with that. I've seen sometimes people get put.
Long term, I wish, I hope that America can live up to its ideals, what we were founded on.
That's
short term. I have goals.
Yeah. Tell me about them.
I'm so excited about my new coalition, the Eastside Coalition. Just a group of my friends, like-minded, out in Clinton. We started this group to try to better Lincoln Addition, try to better the Black community and actually all minorities in Clinton's lives. We have several projects coming up, trying to work with the police to implement community policing, the community policing that we believe in,
What about that? Aren't you doing a neighborhood clean up here pretty quick?
I am. We are. We're doing
Right, I saw that.
community day. We're gonna try to clean up our park. We have a nice park with a concession stand and bathrooms, but it's just in terrible conditions right now.
Right.
And I think we deserve better. I think the kids deserve better. So we're just gonna come together, have some hot dogs.
Yes.
And we're inviting everybody out.
And that's and that brings the entire community, and it's not just Lincoln Edition. That's a challenge for all of Clinton to take care of Clinton, and the citizens of Clinton got together and funded the building of the East Side Academy, which was of course something that I thought was a remarkable start in doing something universal for Clinton. And I admire very much what you guys are doing, but we need to be doing it all over Clinton.
We need to be doing it all over. I mean, that's I couldn't agree more.
Well, I mean it. I mean, it's not just you're gonna. Well, I think what you'll do is in focusing on in Lincoln right now. You're an example, for the rest of the 35 blocks in Clinton, and the way we need to treat Clinton.
All right, Zoom's yelling at me right now, so I don't want to just all of a sudden it cut us off. So I want you to have a minute here, Jamila, a couple minutes here to just kind of your final thoughts. So what we talked about earlier, what's your goals, what you think, and everything you're doing to be involved in the community. But if you had just this one chance just to say anything you wanted, kind of let me hear it. Uh-oh, I've lost you. I've lost your audio. Look, this is a story of my life, isn't it? Maybe I did something wrong. It's usually my fault. I told you.
Registered?
Oh, wait, there we go. I hear you now.
Oh, okay.
All right, start over. You're good.
Okay, I want everyone in the Clinton community to come out to our community day. It will start at 9:00 in the Eastside Academy parking lot. We'll have food and drinks. We'll be registering people to vote, helping people with their census, and of course mowing lawns and trying to clean up the park and the whole neighborhood.
The day.
Tell me the day again. When's the day?
July 18th at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, get out there and support that. It sounds like a great cause. Jamila, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And I know sometimes this is a difficult subject, but I honestly do feel like the more we talk about it, the more we get it out there, the more normal we make it to want to fix it. I feel like as human beings, that makes it all the better.
Oh, I have one more thing.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
I hear the tribe, the Cheyenne Arapaho tribe is they're gonna renovate the VFW building, and they're having the grand opening today. I think people should go out there and support them. I feel like the tribe does a lot of good things for the Clinton community, and at times I don't feel like they get the recognition they deserve. So shout out to Cheyenne Arapaho tribe.
Awesome. Jamila, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamila.
We appreciate.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You too. We'll see you. Conversation Corner this morning brought to us by our good friends at Lucille's Roadhouse. We'll come back in just a few minutes and we will get your community calendar, find out where you can go watch fireworks at. That's right, where the fireworks show is going to be. We'll do that coming up next. It's the new Van and John Show on the Coyote.
Welcome back for another episode of ASMR with